everyone, it's Sam here, and today I've got a fun card style. I'm going to call this maybe like a grid card or checkered card. I don't know. Anyway, you open it up like so, and you have these kind of staggered. They could be any shape. I've done like squares and rectangles, but you could have all different circle shapes. So I'm not, yeah, I need to think about the name, but for the minute, this is what we're going to make. Really, really easy. It's a 5x7 gatefold, really. So, but with those panels, and they're going to be double-sided, and you've got that big centerpiece there for your sentiment. That's how it displays, and it stands really nicely. Obviously, I've got stuff on my desk, but it does stand up, and you've got your space on the back to write your message. I may well add a belly band to this. I'm not sure yet. I might do the belly band so it kind of fills that square there. We'll see. To decorate, so I have all that ready. I've used the chevron embossing folder, and I've used little bits from these sets. So I've used the football and the football boot from the Sporting Moments. From Hobbies Galore, I've used the beer and the beer bottle. And then from Dress Him Up, I've used the football shirt, the watch, the wallet, the cap and the glasses. Really lovely sets, these ones. And then for the sentiment, I have used the Have a Great Day, not that you'll remember it, from the Let the Drinks Flow set, but you've also got these other funny ones as well. I was going to do the literally don't give a beep about your birthday, but here's a card anyway. It's a good one, like from brother to brother or something like that, sibling rivalry, that kind of thing. I thought it was quite a fun one. So you can see that one that I've already stamped on that piece. So really straightforward. I try to keep all these cards as simple as possible. So you want a piece of 10x7. Along that 10-inch side, you're going to score it 2.5 and 7.5, and then rotate it, and you're going to score it 2.5 just down to the first score line. You want to then flip it, and again 2.5 down to the first score line. That's just a guideline for cutting, so don't worry that the score line's not the same, but you can always just go back over it if you want. And then for the center panel and the little kind of support that it sits on, this is a piece of 3x1. Along the 3-inch side, you're going to score at 1/2, 1 inch, 2 inches and 2.5, and you want to create a valley, mountain, and then mountain, valley fold. So you've got that piece there. Okay, for the panel for the front inside, the panel that pops out in the middle is 3.5 by 5, and then the matte layer is 3.25 by 4 3/4. And then for all of these pieces, so for the back 2 panels, you want 2 pieces of 2.25 by 6 3/4. I've cut them from the papers, actually, from this pad. I don't think this one's available anymore. It's the Mainly Male set. It's a really nice paper pad. I've just taken those, cut that in half. They're going to go, I'll kind of lay this out. They're going to go inside there. Oh, actually, we've got to do another score line. I just realised then. So on this piece, you also want to score right through the middle, so at 5 inches. I mean, that's optional, to be honest. You might not want it to pop out, so you can just leave it, and the sides would just fold in. But add that extra one if you want it to pop like mine does. And then these are all the panels. Now, I've already stuck on both sides because they're double-sided, because you see both when you open and close it. So you want 2 pieces of 3.5 by 3.5. And then you'll want 4 pieces of 3.25 by 3.25, and that's your pattern paper. But obviously, just, you know, look at what you want to use. You might use the same pattern all over, but yeah, you can see I've got the 2 different designs on that one. And then you'll want 2 pieces of 2.5 by 3.5, and then 4 pieces of 2.25 by 3.25. So again, I've got the headphones and then the sunglasses. And then for this one, I've done it slightly different, and I've used that embossing folder just on the front, because this is going to be inside. It was just to break up some of that pattern. I'm actually going to have a couple of footballs stuck on the front. But you'll want 2 pieces of 2x2, which is the cardstock, and then 4 pieces of 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. Okay, so again, you can see how I've decorated them. And then these are all the bits I'm going to use to decorate. So I'm going to have a nice little cluster of these icons, something like that, and then these 2 footballs, like I said, it was just to kind of break up, really, are going to go on those there. Okay, for colouring in, I use the Creative Craft product markers. Again, I'm just going to hold up all the colours, and those are what I use. So for the greens, it was the 171, 172. For the blue, I think it was Did I use the pale baby blue? I might not have used that pale baby blue. I definitely used the 70 and 69 together. Then the yellows was 44 and 33 together. And then the greys. And yeah, pretty easy to work out what I used for what there. Okay. Right, so first of all, fold and burnish your score lines. Fold that middle one as well, but also fold it back. In fact, fold all the score lines in both directions. This is the Lidl cardstock. So it's a colour core, so it's not going to crack. And then you want to snip away. So if you have it this way, you're going to snip away all of this part and all of this part here. Okay, so just remove your score line as you cut here, and then remove your score line as you cut up here. So you should have now something like that. So I'm going to stick these ones down first, and we'll get that stuck on next. So with this one here, you folded it so it looks like this. You're going to add your glue to these two little tabs. And then you want to sit this wherever you want your panel to be. I'm going to have my panel towards the top, so I'm just going to sit this in the middle. You want the middle, kind of where they join, to sit across the fold. So then when you bring it up, this stays like facing you. So it means that your panel, imagine that's going to stand like so, the panel pops out, but it stays straight on. So I'm going to use construction glue over this just to keep it so it's nice and strong. And don't worry if that's wonky, because you can then make sure that you line this part up. So just make sure your sides are nice and straight, because it's those kind of things that you'll notice when you close the card. So if I bring in this one, that panel is actually just under there. But if it was wonky, you'd see it. So just make sure you keep it nice and straight. Everyone's design is going to be different. I am going to revisit this and use some different shapes because I think it could look really cool. Now, there we go. When it opens, it pops out, and then it will all fold down flat when you close it up. So I'm going to bring this in now, just so I can make sure I'm following the pattern. Okay, so the first one I want to stick down is the biggest square here. And you can see here, you're going to stick it underneath this one. You might want to stick it over the top, then you'll have a different look from the front. I've just realised I've not cut the pattern paper for those sizes, so I'll give you the measurements to those towards the end. But it depends the look you want from the front. See, I like that look from the front, and then I'll have the full design of something else there inside. You might want to put all of the matte layers down first and then stick your pattern paper and overlap that, but you might get some of the markings of the card underneath. That's why I've chose to do mine this way. So there's going to be a few different ways that you want to position this, but each time you stick something down, just bear in mind what you've got inside, which is why I wanted to stick this in first, because when I lay this down, see, I want it to cover that piece. I'll probably bring it down that way as well. See, so that piece is covered, and then this is going to cover one side, and then the other one, when it folds over, will cover that side. So you just got to kind of play around with what it is that you want to see from the front and what it is you want to see from inside. So that one's going to go underneath. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue just here and stick that down, keeping this nice and parallel with this side, keeping a nice right angle here. So just focus on all those kind of things, because that's going to be noticed, when it's all together. If it's a bit wonky, you might not like it so much. So then this one I'm actually going to stick over the top, because I want the football here. And then I'm going to have this one underneath. And it's going to come down a little bit. So I've got about 1/4 inch gap there, and it's come down 1/4 inch from there. So that's how it's going to look from inside. Like I said, I'm going to get another pattern piece to go there. So now if I fold this all in with how I've got it stuck, that is how it's going to look from the outside. In fact, I think I'm going to leave that on this side plain, because I think it just breaks it up a little bit. And I'll talk you through when you do the other side, because it's really easy, because you just line it all up with this one. Okay, so I'm going to stick all of this one down first of all. To get the other side all lined up, If you fold that one over, remembering obviously what you're going to be sticking on what, so that one is going to go under this one here. Okay, so fold that one over and then fold this one, and then just line it up with the one underneath, so I know that my glue has to cover this portion here. And now I can just sit that, lining it up with this corner here and lay that one down. Open it up, just make sure again everything's nice and straight, like so. Okay, this one is a bit different because we want it on the inside, so it's got that kind of staggered like step. So if you just do it the same way still, and all you do now is just line up the top there and just making sure you got the same kind of border. So I've got a little bit of the paper I can see there, see a little bit of it there as well. So again, just add my glue and then just line up. And then for the last one, you kind of have to do it this way because you need to, because you won't see it when you close it. So just a little glue there. I can see I've got about 3/8 of an inch there, come down about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and again, add the football like so, and then just close it all up. And you've got a cool looking card. I think it looks great. And then that pops out like so. So I'm gonna think about what I want to put there. It's going to be another pattern paper. I might add just some more of the football paper there actually. I'm going to get all this stuck down and then I'm going to make my belly band. So I've got my belly band here. So I've cut myself, again, you might want to follow a shape or something on the front. I'm going to just cut this rectangle. So it's 2.5 by 4. And then I've got a piece of 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. And I've just stamped the happy birthday. That's from my sentiments set here. I haven't got a name on it, but I'll link it below. I'm just going to stick that one down. And then I've got some of the leftover icons that I didn't use inside. So I'm going to have the football and then probably do the cap and the beer on that side. And then I've got this piece here, which is 1 by, I think, well, whatever the longest you can get it, as long as it wraps around. It's about A4. You just want to wrap it around. If it joins, great. You can just add your glue under there. If it doesn't, don't worry. You can use that to join it together. You don't want it so tight that you can't get it off. Just wrap it around. And just check that they can easily slide that. And then I'm going to add a couple of foam pads. That will help secure it together whilst it's drying. And now I'm just focusing on the edge here to make sure it's the same, or as good as. I'm happy with that. So there is the finished card. I might add a few more little embellishments. I reckon some little stars maybe or something. You'll see them in the photos. But that's how it looks on the front. Slide off your belly band, and really easy for the recipient to open. I love it. I think it's really, really cool. It displays so nicely. And I always like to just kind of sit the belly band in front there, but it's hard to show it here, but that's how it will look on the mantle. That's a showstopper. I think it's wonderful. So yeah, definitely going to revisit this with different sizes. Like I said, I think all different oval shapes, circles, stars. I think stars will look brilliant. Yeah, I think it's going to be one that can be used for lots of occasions. So those big milestones, imagine a big birthday number in the middle there and all the stars. As long as you want it mirrored from each side, then anything's going to work. I think it will look awesome. So as always, thank you for joining today. I hope you've enjoyed the card style that I've shared. All of the products that I've used, you'll be able to find it over on the Craft Stash website. Like I said, there might be some that have sold out, but check out the link here, but they'll also be individually linked in the description box. If you're not subscribed, just click here, and that way you can subscribe to the channel and you won't miss out on any future videos. And I'll have a masculine playlist coming up next. You might want to watch that for some more inspiration. See you all again soon. Bye.